Greetings and welcome to Event Horizon Presentation 9. And it's an appropriate number which I will get to in a little while. It may well be that I have to split this presentation over two videos. We'll see how the time goes anyway. First off, I want to give a shout out. If I could perhaps create a top 10 all-time YouTube videos, then I would have to say listen to Quantum of Conscience in his latest hour-long presentation. It's so inspired, such original thinking. But I mean, what is original thinking? That's a whole subject in itself, which I will probably make as a video in itself because there's so much to that. But yeah, listen to Matt. I mean, that is so inspired and so close to the truth. When I say the truth, of course, think of the flower of life pattern. We are universes within each and every one of us. The universe is inside the mind, and it is limitless. It really is. And of course, they overlap. And just like when you take it down to the 3D level, you've got an overlap of territories. And let's face it, how many wars have been fought over territories because they are terra-tor eyes. Another very good video. I thoroughly recommend you listen to this. Now, these two, Quantum of Conscience and also this second one, Black Sheep Researcher, the interview with Roots channel Maz. Have a listen to that. They're ones you don't have to have the visual. You can just have it on as the sound and just shut your eyes and listen to it. Shut out all the outside distractions from that. But personal journey, speaking from the heart with both of them. Following on from that as well, Freak Sense TV. Listen to I think it's episode 4, very recent one. The guy's name is Steve, an Australian comedian who went through 5 years of depression, and talking from a personal experience and how pain is a necessary process that we need to go through in this, and the wonderful inspired breakdown of etymology by Josh X, far better than I could ever do. He brings in so much more. I'm almost envious in a way. But we all bring a bit to the table. It's a soup, and we all can put ingredients into this pot. I also listened to Lee, Flat Earth British sub. His last 2 Vanna vlogs are so inspired about staying neutral to everything. And I'll get on to a bit more of this. What struck me is the answer was right in front of me, and it still is as I speak this, because I'm recording this on a mobile phone. And what has that mobile phone got in it? It's got a memory and an additional memory card. It's not infinite. It has a maximum that it can take. This is why these talks only go for about 25 minutes, because there's a danger of filling the memory card up, and then if I store them, I'm going to have to delete some of the ones I've put to the memory card, because I can't afford to get another memory card. And really, do I need to? Because it's all up here. I can draw on it again. May not say exactly word for word the same way, but there's so many ways of explaining this. When you go beyond everything we're told is a lie, that's the easy part. It's what road you take from that is the most difficult part. I've got some little prompting notes which have sort of grown. This spiritual journey is all about letting go, in so many ways. Decluttering in the physical, decluttering of the mind, releasing attachments. So it is a case of, well, so what if the physical body doesn't survive this? Um, the spirit and the soul does not end. Um, I refer you back to Holographic Multiverse, who explains exactly what this phone and all the electronic devices work on, the ISO, the SOL, the soul. Um, the zero and the one, it's the binary system that all these things work on. The zero is the organic, which is generally the feminine, and then the I, where you get the right angles and the L's, the Christian cross, and so on, and the organized society as opposed to the organic. It switches between the two, but it's devoid of the serpent, the spirit, the S10, the Satan, because this is Satan's playnet. That is what most people think is the God, but as without, so within. That is a flower of life pattern, which probably overlaps with other ones. Have I got proof of this? No. It's just a pattern that seems to replicate through everything. This spiritual journey is all about going within, and my universe overlaps with with your universe, and so on and so on. And why would it not be inconceivable that the Satan or any of these deities, these gods, all these other realms all overlap in one way or another? I'm going to offer you a way out of this, and it's up to you. This, you can see this as a multi-level game of chess, basically. So when science talks about an expanding universe, they're not wrong. But that universe will only expand when you are prepared to open your mind and you decide where the limits are, what you will accept as possible or impossible. I have proved this repeatedly to myself to know that this is right. Yesterday, purely from thought, I manifested food and I manifested a joint. I would have loved to have made this video yesterday. It's like, well, how did I get a joint? It was by sending out a wish and creating that vibrational idea that one of the neighbours said, here, I've got this for you, and it was lovely. I slept for ages and I feel renewed for it. See, a lot of you are going to be going through this at the moment. It's not that thing. It's you're feeling the physical effects of the spiritual changes. Yeah, this video is not for the newbies out there, because they're too close-minded. It won't make any sense to them. So let's just talk about the players in this game. You've got ones like us that are remaining open-minded, what is called, what a lot of people refer to, the awakened and the conspiracy theorists. Well, I'm quite happy to accept those labels for all the good that they are. I don't say I have all the answers, and beyond this, who knows? All I can say is that there is doorways and opportunities we can go through, and in the grand scheme of things, what does it matter whether we leave this physical body? I mean, we are here to have an experience. The memory cards don't come with us from previous lives. Now let's flip this over. Now let's say you're one of these names like George Soros, or one of the presidents, a Hollywood star, one of the well-known names. Imagine if you just pick one of your favourite foods, for example. Now, say you're given blackcurrant cheesecake. Now, do you want that every day? day in, day out. It's going to get rather boring. Now, imagine if you, in each lifetime, you're carrying those memories across, which is what these parasites do. They move from body to body, because Matt highlighted this when he said when Barbara Bush died that a baby Bush came along, and it's basically the that same entity is going into a new host body. This is explains also why whichever Rockefeller it was wanted his, was it 8th or 9th heart transplant, because they've got that position of power. But when that physical shell decays, they're going to have to start as a baby again, and they're now going to have to power climb up through their system. So they are actually going through a hell. Even if you are born into a millionaire lifestyle every time, or you come back into a millionaire lifestyle, and you've got the yachts, you've got the supermodel partners, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, it's going to get very boring. And they are going through a hell. It's like, oh great, I'm back as a millionaire, I've got a yacht and 15 sports cars, and I've got a mansion on Fifth Avenue again. They're not learning anything. They're not going through experiences, because this reality is all about experience. Look, there's more than 64 squares on this chessboard. Let's just look at the players here. On the one side, you've got this satanic, whatever it is behind it all. You've got the servants of this, which, yeah, they probably are the minions, the useful idiot level as well, that are fooled into siding with that, thinking they've got the answers, and yeah, they've been chucked a few dollars or a few pounds, and they're slightly up the ladder in this base 3 or debased 3D reality, but it serves them no good in the end. You're going to come back. This is the thing. Nobody actually dies as such. It's only the physical body. This is where they have tricked everybody, because there are so many focused on this. So you've got that side. Let's call them the white chess players on the back row. The rooks and the crooks, the bishops, the knights, the king, the queen, and so on. In between, in front of them, are an awful lot of pawns. On the other side, the mirror image is us. Now we need to just stay neutral and just sit this one out. It's a chess game, it's their move. The pawns in the middle are the ones that are doing this evil. It's like that, the smart ant in Bug's Life who says to Hopper, you need us and you know it. Because they do. They need the ants, the pawns in the middle, to do their dirty work, and this is why they're creaming off so much money and things, building up this fake material wealth. And it's not going to take much longer before this powder keg erupts. The longer they keep this lockdown going, the more chance there is of those in the 3D and that are only seeing it as 3D, they're already starting to rant and rave. I get sent videos of people who are just negative, and we need to do this. I mean, Michigan, are you telling me that the whole of whichever city it was have all got a Facebook community page, and they all said, hey, let's all go out in our cars, let's all assemble? You're going to be playing into the game if you take part in that. That's just what they want, because there's a justification to bring in the military. Why are the cells being emptied out of prisoners that's being put about on Facebook? Well, we all know the prisons are overcrowded. So the ringleaders, those that incite the riots, will be made an example of to keep the rest of the herd back down again. You've given them what they want by taking part in that. So this is why the chess pieces at the other end of the board, which is us, need to stay completely neutral to this and keep out of it, because we're not here for this. There's two types of reset. There is the good reset, which wipes the slate clean. There is the intermediate resets which are done by the evil side, which they replicate. They cannot create anything themselves. They have to replicate something else, but they haven't got the knowledge or the level of understanding of what is beyond them to actually put all this together. They have a certain suppressed knowledge they've kept from the rest of us, yes. Um, so the pawns will become the sacrificial pawns. The Georgia guide stones are set in stone, and it will happen that way. That it's very simple. Those that feed into the fear and feel the fear are going to die. That doesn't mean that they're going to end. They just get recycled and they'll have to come back and do these life lessons all over again. But they are living in fear. They have been spun the fear. They've not opened up their minds. They've stopped questioning. A lot of them are believing what the governments are telling them all around the world. They're falling for the illusion that there are governments. I mean, the flowers of life are circular. The ancient tribes all have circular tents, and yet we've got gardens that are rectangles mostly, and they've got right angle corners because they are squaring the circle at every level, and we need to circle the square. And yeah, you'll have overlaps of territory. We have overlaps in the spiritual world. The people that I talk to, some of the people I know, is a different circle of the next person. There's overlaps with all of this. We replicate this flower of life pattern so much. So yeah, see this. Forget the computer games. This is a far better game to play, and you got to know the rules of the game. I'm not saying I've got the rules in front of me. I'm just piecing together the bits and pieces. I don't go deep into the rabbit holes for this reason, because you've just got to stand way back. And I'm quoting a lot from Matt on Quantum of Conscience and sort of expanding on what he said, because it is, if you're standing right in front of the television set, you're seeing the pixels. If you stand back, you'll see a bigger picture that will then start to make sense, but it's an illusory picture. You need to stand way back from that, come right back out of it, detach yourself away from it. See, it's all about the letting go with all of this, and see the biggest possible picture you can. And you'll only do that while you keep the mind open to everything. I said before that 50% comes from spiritual downloads. The other 50% that I get comes from being sparked by these other universes, these other people that between us we've got all the answers really. It's just collectively we just need to bring it together. Now another channel, while I think of it, which is sort of not on my sort of bullet point list, listen to Martin Leaker. This building these communities, we need to get more people on board with this. You can't expect Martin to do it all, and he is asking for help anyway. What about some of you that don't feel comfortable with making YouTube videos and things? There's a lot of names I see in the comments on the premieres and things, and a lot of you that have subscribed to this channel. Well, this is your chance. Get involved. We need as many of these communities as possible, because we can take back our power. We are all gods and goddesses. We all have our own universe. The expansion of space is between your two temples, your all-seeing eye. What do they describe God as in religion? As being all-seeing, all-knowing. Well, what's the third eye? Well, what about this universe in here? Your imagination, your image in, at eye on. Your eye is on, and you're drawing in all this, and you're also, it's two-way traffic, because you're creating out with your magnetism from this. You will draw the right people towards you. Yes, you need the logic as well to watch out for the fakes as well. Again, I agree with Matt on Quantum of Conscience. Ditch all the channels that are just purely in the negative and just stuck in the 3D, because you need the spiritual, you need the heart, and you need the physical. There's three aspects to this. We're here to go through this 3D experience, because it's in this 3D, we can break out of it, but it's all designed to divorce us away from that. None more so than with science, when they talk about space and tell you you're an insignificant nothing. And I mean, that's what a negative concept to build as a foundation. But I thought of this word earlier. It'll come back to me in a minute. Yes, you've got retard. Well, it's retard. Well, when something is tarded, it is held back. It's retarded. Well, you need to flip that. It needs to be detarded, ditarded. Let go of those ropes. Allow your mind to just expand, because what else can I do with this manifestation? I'm working on keeping the adrenochrome shortage going and starving this monster to force their hand. Collectively, the more of you that are just by thought, you don't have to do any more than that, just by thought, you can manifest, and collectively we can manifest so much together, and we can work on all areas of blowing the lid off this thing. And I'm not saying we're going to get to right out of this game. We'll probably just go up one level. So let's just have a look at 3 symbols here. E is always energy. You notice you've got 3 points. You've got the lower, you've got the upper. This is where we want to be, in the middle, the neutral. See, well, I can come back now to this being appropriately presentation 9. Well, look at the 9. If this is the start of it, you're going round in a circle, and then you're going down. Because after 9 comes nothing and 1 again. And we need to get to R10, because all is Atum, all is R10. And let's face it, the binary system is 0 and 1 anyway. Geometry shows you it's all between 1 and 9. But let's flip it over, because we are 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. We are the 666. They flipped this over to make you think it is something evil. Yeah, their numbers are neutral, and you can put any intent you want behind them. But in this physical realm, we are 666. And look what the 6 does. You start in the middle again, you go round in a circle, but you rise up and move to the right. That's what you need to do with your spiritual oil. It's up and to the right. Listen to Freak Sense TV, listen to Santos Spinacci or Mr. Astro's Theology. You've got to have this spiritual, you've got to have the heart, and you've got to have the physical, all working together just in the same way. You need this marriage of spiritual and truth seeking together. We can learn lessons from the past. They are showing us in stone. It is set in stone in the past. So keep open to all of this, and there is a way out of this, and we are heading that way. The balance is changing. We're about 10% with the good side now, and the scales are tipping. They will even up. What we don't want them is to go too far the other way. We want to keep them in the middle and stay neutral to all this. We need to start looking towards afterwards now. We've got all the ingredients. We've got all the ways we can bring this. We can all bring something into this pot, and we can get ourselves out of this level, at least to the next level. Those that fail will come back and have to do this again. They may go further. It's like a game of snakes and ladders as well. I mean, we also got the Day of the Triffids going on, if you think about it. The blindness is the blindness of the third eye of so many of them, and they'll be wandering around. In that story, I seem to remember, it was the guy that was blind who could function far better because he didn't see these lights in the sky. It wasn't a terrifying change. He wasn't cut off from one of his 5 senses, because he was already working quite nicely with less in the first place. He didn't have sight. He had an inner sight, and he could feel his way around quite, and he could do things quite easily. And it was the ones who went blind that then turned to him that for help. So it's films and songs and everything are not telling you anything different any more than the war that is going on is any different. Matt put this very well in Quantum of Conscience. If you put it in a war situation, the one that dives on the landmine and pays the ultimate sacrifice to save the lives of others and operates from a benevolent position, he's got his ticket out. Now, what about these nurses? They took an oath of saving lives. Shame on the nurses that are not speaking out. I know they've been most likely threatened with losing their jobs, but if you take an oath to save lives, do you really want to knowingly be partaking in taking people's lives? I mean, what is all this do not resuscitate nonsense coming out? It's genocide being rolled out. And if people, so many can't see this because they're stuck in the 3D. Now let's take something like McDonald's. Just one McDonald's drive-through. Think about what you need for that. You need, regardless of how genuine the ingredients, the beef, the buns, the eggs, the milk. Look what that's done to the economy, and people think this is going to go back just like that, and once this lockdown is lifted. No, it's not, because you've got a huge problem with the whole infrastructure. Darkside has shot itself in the foot, and it's a mindset of a spoilt child, and it's like, well, if I can't have it, nobody's having it, and I'm taking as many of you with me. So fear feeds on fear. While you stay in fear, yes, you're going to die. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. If you give in to the fear and you feel the fear, you are going to die. If you find the love in your heart and you keep your mind open, you're going to get through this. It's as simple as that. There's no simpler explanation to this. There's no easier way to say it. You can go and look and do as much research, and I would advise as many of you too. Don't just look at the truth seeking, look at the spiritual. Know thyself, know thy enemy are the two critical parts to this. And remember that even this pattern replicates. What you might think is a good and benevolent source is not. Because why is it we've had to go through all this shit and go through all this pain? We learn from that pain. It seems almost cruel. But what if that is not the end as well? What is beyond that? What is beyond? The Gnostic teachings give huge clues on this as well. Listen also to, on Freak Sense TV, a song like The Horse with No Name. It's not about a man going through a bloody desert dragging a horse along. It's talking about what is going on inside. After the 9th day, the rivers ran free. I can't remember the words, but look for that video on Freak Sense TV channel. So much of this is allegorical, and there is things to be found in everything, all the symbolism. It is a case of once you see it, and you keep your mind open, you will see it, and you will find more. You will expand your universe, your consciousness. You are your god or goddess of your own universe within inside you. That is what you have dominion and sovereignty over. It is not about having power over somebody else. It is about having power over yourself, yourselves. Because that's what we really are. Yeah, this might sound crazy to any newbie who's coming into this. Well, this is not for the newbies. This is for those that I want to keep on that path and just give you my personal experience, because I am the authority, the author. I am the AU Thor. AU is gold of my universe, my personal experiences. I am sharing those with all of you, and I listen to other people's experiences because they're spoken from the heart. It's far better than any programmed, agendaed anything that's out there, whether it be on mainstream or on YouTube or whatever. But if it's just purely negative and worrying about paying the mortgage and shit like that, well, forget it. I'm not interested. We come into this world with nothing in this physical realm. We go out with nothing. Our memories are wiped, and we move on hopefully to the next level if we play this game and we get out of it. And the way to play this game is staying neutral to it. Let the pawns fight it out. Let them be played, because they will be played, and they will go with the evil. The time of evil is up, and it's just a case of just stay patient, because patience is a virtue. All good things come to those that wait, do they not? So I'm actually enjoying this. I mean, we've got a lovely day. I'm going to sit out in the garden. I'm going to get some food from the sun. That's 25% of your intake is vitamin D from the sun. I I may do a sort of series of videos of how to survive on a really tight budget, and be creative with those meals. Sort of mix and match things. My cooking works on, I like this, I like that, I like that. Let's chuck it all together and batch cook it, so it lasts several meals, and you can really eke out and live on very little money in this 3D. And you can also supplement that by the vitamin D you take in. So when the sun's out, get out there and enjoy it. Don't just watch videos, but do listen to the ones like that I've mentioned already. That particularly the ones that don't have the visual, because you can shut your eyes and you can shut out those outside distractions, and you can. I mean, it is all sound vibration after all, and the word of God, as they call it, the creation, it's sound vibration. We're also we've got these biological suits in this realm as well, but they are only vessels. But you need to be captain of your vessel, regardless of whether you're in a female or a male body. We're all vessels. You chose to come into this experience. Whether you remember it or not is irrelevant, but you chose to come into this and have this experience, and it's perspectives. You can see the good or you can see the bad. You can worry about paying your mortgage, but you can worry about the supposed numbers of deaths, or you can think, well, hey, they've shot themselves in the foot. They're not getting the money from the oil, from petrol and diesel at the petrol stations or gas stations for those in the United States. The education system, the indoctrination is not happening. The churches have shut the doors. The religious indoctrination is not going on. This thing is on a road of implosion, of self-destruction. There seems to be some sort of conflict going on within the evil side as well. So just stay on that back line and let the pawns fight it out. Let them play the game. We're not here for that. We're here for what comes afterwards, and create a new reality that is one based on love and benevolence, and that dream that we all want and we can all see. That, well, those that are listening to this channel, not everybody obviously can see it, but that's not my problem. If they ain't prepared to do the work, I can't help them. Everybody has to do their own work. I can only guide, same as any other channel. If people want to listen, they'll listen. If they won't, they won't. So, but hey, I'm still smiling. I'm happy with things. There's so much more I could say, but what were you up to? Oh, 33 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to have to say like Matt now, aren't I? Sort of make of that what you want. The number 33. Hey, look, it's 33 vertebrae in your spine, as much as the evil twist on it. Numbers are neutral. So see it any way you want. You choose what perspective. Do you want to see it from a positive or a negative side? I would choose to see both sides and stay neutral and walk that fine line. That's the place to be. So, love to you all, and this is going to take ages to upload, but I'm going to be a guest on the Unscrambled channel along with Black Sheep Researcher, so that could be a very interesting and wonderful experience to listen to. So thank you, Karen, for inviting us on that, and yes, just stay in high vibration. Ignore all the fear and the crap that's going on out there, because it really doesn't affect us. We're not here for that. So thank you very much.